Hi, sorry, there was some technical glitch. We'll continue. So, adenosine is a very fast acting parenteral antiarrhythmic, and within few seconds it's going to arrest the arrhythmias, and it's preferred for terminating acute paroxysmal supraventricular tachycardia. If you have a question like what is the drug of choice for terminating acute supraventricular tachycardia, please prefer adenosine. This is the best drug for immediate termination of paroxysmal SVT. The drug acts by opening potassium channels in the phase 4 of conducting cells. So when potassium channels open, they allow efflux of potassium ions, and so the phase 4 will take a longer time to reach the threshold for calcium ions to stimulate. Only point is, if you have a patient who is a known asthmatic on theophylline, it might antagonize adenosine, and adenosine may not produce optimum therapeutic effect. So that's the only point that you need to keep in mind. Digoxin, we have seen this picture is not new. Digoxin, apart from inhibiting sodium potassium ATPase and positive inotropic effect, it has a vagomimetic effect, so inhibits SA node, AV node conduction, and is preferred for patients who have atrial fibrillation on the background of congestive cardiac failure. So if you have a question, a known patient with congestive cardiac failure has a new onset atrial fibrillation, what is the antiarrhythmic drug of choice? Choose digoxin. The last, which is magnesium sulfate, which is used to control the life-threatening arrhythmias, Torsades de Pointes, polymorphic ventricular tachycardia. I'm not focusing much on this because I'm sure the clinician would have discussed these in his slides. Magnesium sulfate is a wonderful drug to arrest this Torsades de Pointes. Its mechanism is not clearly known. Only point that you need to keep in mind is that it arrests TDP. This slide, I'm sure you all will be will be disheartened to see this because lot many names are there, but don't try to memorize any of these. Just note that apart from the class 3 antiarrhythmic, class 1A antiarrhythmic, right, which prolong the repolarization and therefore prolong the QT interval, which has the risk of causing Torsades de Pointes, we have some antimicrobials, antihistaminics, antipsychotics, and prokinetics. Just know that there are some drugs which could block the potassium channels in the heart and can prolong the repolarization and can result in Torsades de Pointes. That's all you need to keep in mind. I'm not going into the details of individual arrhythmias except for two, because clinician must be having all these in his slides. Supraventricular tachycardia. So when a patient presents with acute paroxysmal SVT with narrow complex tachycardia, first you need to see is whether the patient's BP is optimum and whether the patient is hemodynamically stable. If he is stable, then you will go for drugs. If he is unstable, then you would go for cardioversion. If he is stable, right, hemodynamically he is stable, his blood pressure is normal, then you can advise him to do one of the vagal maneuver, either a Valsalva maneuver, if that is not, or carotid stimulation. If that is not working out, then you would go for administering drugs. For PSVT, right, SVT, the drug of choice is adenosine. If it doesn't respond, then you can go for calcium channel blockers or a beta blockers. For atrial fibrillation, again, this is a very complex slide. Don't try to focus on any of this, or except for those who wanted to know more in detail. Otherwise, for most of you, just note for atrial fibrillation, beta blockers, calcium channel blockers are preferred. If the patient has congestive cardiac failure, digoxin is preferred. And atrial fibrillation patients, apart from antiarrhythmics, they need to be put on oral anticoagulants, particularly when they have a left atrial enlargement, left atrial appendage. They are at increased risk of thrombi and stroke, so they should receive anticoagulants. These are the answers for the MCQs in the last session, and yesterday I have uploaded a presentation on the prescription writing. And the last exercise I didn't discuss because it was related to antiarrhythmic drugs, and since the lecture is uploaded today, I'm going to discuss this exercise. So if you see the last exercise, it is a 72-year-old woman who presented with a pulse of 160, tachycardia, hemodynamically stable, blood pressure is 120, and the ECG revealed absent P waves. So you make a diagnosis of atrial fibrillation. I'm sure from medicine lecture you know what is happening to atrial fibrillation, as well as we discussed the basic mechanisms of tachyarrhythmia, so associate with it, and what are the drugs. Just now I told you that you could use it for restoring the rhythm. For atrial fibrillation, sorry to just I'll touch it briefly, you can control the rate or you can control the rhythm. So you have rate control, rhythm control. There are certain criteria to select patients, whether their rate has to be controlled or whether their rhythm has to be controlled. For rate control, we primarily use digoxin. For rhythm control, we use beta blockers, calcium channel blockers. So with that, I complete this pharmacology resource session, and this is the last pharmacology resource. So good luck to you. Don't be panic. Stay calm. Go through all the resource sessions that we had, including the prescription writing. Right? If you have any doubts, please always feel free to approach. Thank you. Take care.